What's up? This is Happy Hour. I am your host, Ryan Hoppe, and I am hanging out with Jim Florentine and Chad Zumock. They can both be seen this weekend at Side Splitters Comedy Club in Tampa Bay. What's up, dude?
What's going on?
How's it going, Ryan?
I'm doing great, Chad. So, how awesome is it that you get to hang out with Jim Florentine for a living?
It's pretty awesome, man. I get paid to hang out with Jim Florentine. It's pretty cool.
How do you think your comedy's going?
It's all right. Very mediocre. I haven't written a new joke in months.
I feel like you've been saying on any show you go on that your comedy's been mediocre since like 2012, though.
Yeah, it's been since 2012 since it's been mediocre.
I feel you.
Yeah.
How has your Amazon Prime special been doing? Have people been giving you a good response on it?
Yeah, the people I've seen it like it, you know. Yeah, I don't know why. No, Chad does good on stage.
Yeah.
You know. I don't know why he's saying that to me.
He's trying to be humble, but he knows that he does well.
No, he just says, I do well, man. I do my job. That's all he's got to say. Look, no comics, Godfrey, Bert, me, all these other comics, Crystal Lee, would take him out if he wasn't doing a good job.
Yeah, I think he gets so overwhelmed by being around all these big names that you don't give yourself enough credit.
Well, yeah, I think I'm just overwhelmed.
No, it's not that. He's not overwhelmed. But he's not overwhelmed by hanging out with us at all. He knows he does good on stage. But he doesn't have to brag about it, but he does a good job. He wouldn't be working these clubs if he wasn't. He headlined Wednesday and Saturday here. So, obviously he's doing a good job.
How great of an area is Tampa to do comedy in? You have good morning radio, you have a good comedy club.
I love coming down here. I like the club a lot. Side Splitters is a great comedy club, and I love doing Calta's show too. It's always fun to come down here in Florida. In fact, I'm probably going to retire here in a couple of years and just do comedy in Florida.
Do you have enough money for that?
Yeah, I could probably do that.
I feel like you've made like a low-key living. I feel like you've done well like under the radar.
So you're basically saying no one knows me?
No, I'm just saying like I feel like you make good money, but people think about I don't know what I'm saying.
Yeah, exactly what you just said. I'm with you on this, Ryan. This is Tampa Bay's best podcast, right?
It is Tampa Bay's best podcast.
All right.
How weird was it getting into that fight with Pat and Oswald on Twitter? I know every single radio show and every single podcast is asking you, but...
Well, Jim will, he was he saw what was happening from afar, and he just didn't want me to get canceled.
Yeah.
So...
Were you worried about it when he was sending out these tweets? Because this guy right here, he like lives in the past. He freaks out over things, and I'm like, Chad, you got to focus on the future, dude.
Yeah, well, just that he said that word. And he did it on purpose. By the way, I know you're going to ask us about like what Shane Gillis and all that stuff. Just don't say that C word.
I didn't even want to talk about that because I don't.
If you do, or a comedy about getting in trouble, just don't say that C word. And I don't mean cunt.
What do you think about that? I can't believe it.
What about cunt? I like it. I eat it.
It's the best.
I eat it and I fuck it.
Do you think Louis J. Gomez has any shame or feels bad that because of his podcast and everything, Shane got in trouble?
No.
Really?
No.
Would you feel bad if a guy came on your show and said a lot of really edgy, potentially racist things, and then because of the soundbite, he didn't get on SNL?
No.
I feel like you're very focused on yourself and the future, and you don't really care if another comedian you're friends with gets in trouble.
I'm not, they said it, not me. What am I going to do? First of all, I've had one guest on my podcast, Chad, and I don't think he's getting on Saturday Night Live, so I'm not worried about it. He doesn't do any characters, and he's probably not going to get on there. I have a feeling he won't.
Now, with the prep and the topics...
He's also a white male, so he's got no shot at getting on there.
Yeah, I can't imagine Chad being on there either, just dressing up all the time with Cleveland Cavalier gear.
Yeah. Well, I got characters. I do a character called Redneck Chad. That was really popular.
You know what else I liked that you did 5 years ago is the Aldi's video. That was one of the greatest things I've ever seen.
Oh, yeah. I got a cease and desist from Aldi. I just ignored it.
Did you really?
Yeah, they weren't happy about it.
Well, yeah, because not that many people are looking up Aldi online, so it's one of the first things that showed up.
Yeah, I have the most views for an Aldi commercial ever.
Have you ever had the pleasure of shopping at Aldi's?
No, I don't even know what that is.
It's like a poor place to get food, essentially. It's like the non-name brands. It's in like the Midwest.
Oh yeah, no, I've heard of it.
You're missing out. I'm getting non-name brand cereal for breakfast as a kid.
Yeah, well, I'm not a kid anymore. I don't eat cereal.
How old is your kid now?
9, and he barely eats cereal because he's too old.
What are some things you've taught him about being a man? Because I was listening to an Opie and Anthony show from like 5 years ago with you on it here. When I was driving here, I had it on in the car, and it seems like you've been a person that's wanted to get your kid into like heavy metal and sports since like day one, even back in 2014.
Yeah, he's into both. He loves metal, loves sports, and no, I told him 2 things. I said, don't cheat on your girlfriend or your wife, and don't let a woman fucking control you in a relationship. Don't let her, take control of a relationship where you're not allowed to do anything. Don't be a pussy, basically. Those are the 2 things in life I tell him, because you're gonna be your whole life is gonna be ruined if you get a controlling woman, because he sees it around him.
Yeah.
So I say, you see these normal relationships. This is what a relationship is. Not some woman that's going to completely control you and just beat you down, and you're not going to hang out with your friends. You're not going to be able to do fun shit. She's going to control all the fun. I said, never get, and he knows that already. I said, if I could teach you any kind of wisdom at all, because then your life is going to be miserable the rest of your life.
I had the same thing. I had an ex who took the fun out of everything, and it's just crazy to think that like she cheated on me, and it's just like the most empty feeling, because you're like, you are so focused on finding the next loyal person to prevent that from happening, because when you find out after the fact, it's one of the weirdest feelings.
Well, maybe she cheated on you because you weren't eating her box.
Trust me, I did that.
Maybe it wasn't that good.
It did kind of put my confidence not to the ground, but I was just like, what did I do wrong where she was banging other dudes?
It's nothing you ever did. It's her. It's all on her. When someone cheats, it's nothing to do with you. That you didn't eat a pussy right, which you probably didn't. You know what I mean? I don't know how long you did it for.
Do you think any of it goes back to like daddy issues?
Not really. I just think they're just, they need attention. These chicks need a lot of attention these days, especially with social media. So if they got to get it from somewhere. They see everybody else getting it, so they'll go fuck some other dude to feel good about themselves.
Now, are you on dating apps?
Did you ever? How long would you eat a box for?
I would do it for like 5 to 6 minutes.
Yes, that's not long. That's not long enough.
You gotta go at least 7 to 8.
That's not long enough. You got to go 15 to 20. You got to put time in. It's like doing
I think the ratio wasn't fair enough for what she was putting in to what I was putting in, maybe.
What do you mean?
Like she would go down on me for a longer amount of time than I would go down on her. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. See, that's a problem. You just got to, suck it up.
We were gonna be together forever and ever. Oh boy, was I pussy whipped.
Yeah, in your mind you were, not in hers.
Have you ever had times?
You're young. Why would you want? Seriously, would you really want to marry that girl? Whenever
No.
Down?
I was up to 310 pounds. I was in an all-time low in radio. I'm doing better now. But what I'm saying is I cringe at the fact that I almost threw everything away. Like, it took me a year to get back on Kelta's good side and everybody at work. I mean, like, it was a weird time for myself.
Right, and now looking back at it, isn't it better you're not with that girl? Because she would have made you work like a fucking day job back in Cleveland. Some shit job that you don't want to do because she wants to control you. She wouldn't want you being on the radio because you got these crazy radio fans coming out to your appearances. Some girl might want to suck your dick. So she's going to make you work at a fucking insurance place, and you'd be miserable.
This just in now. I mean, there are good-looking women that listen to talk radio, but our average demographic is a 25 to 54-year-old dude that likes to watch the NFL on Sunday, so that's not really what I'm into.
There's always some stragglers out there that you can get. So there are some women, but that's what you'd be doing right now if that girl didn't cheat on you. You'd be in Cleveland in a fucking cubicle right now.
Do you like Cleveland?
Yeah, I don't like, there's 2 things I don't like Cleveland. They're supposed to be like blue collar, manly guys. They drink that fucking Christmas ale and they think it's the best thing, including Chad. All right, it's some fucking, if it was so good, they'd put it out in July, but it's only in December. So obviously it's shit. Because I drink Heineken all year round because it's good. I don't just drink them in December.
I want to go on a limb and say you're a big fan of White Claws, though.
No, I've had them before. They're whatever. Like, if that's the last thing in the cooler when you're fucking tailgating, then I'll have it. And then they also say Sunday Fun Day, those faggots in Cleveland. And then they also, they'll all go to brunch. They all got fucking beards, and they wear skinny jeans. So it's weird, and they do something else in Cleveland. They do that Sweeties Day or whatever.
Sweetest Day.
Yeah, they fall for that bullshit. That's the only that and Michigan are the only two states that do that stuff, and
Can I defend Christmas Ale?
Yeah.
It's delicious. It's an amazing beer. It's a high alcohol percentage.
That's a good thing.
And it's a good thing, and they tap it once a year. Everyone's excited about it, and it has this cult following. There's a line around the block when they tap the beer.
Yeah, great. Yeah. Yeah, because they only put it out for a month. If they had it all around the year round, you think there'd be a line around the block? Probably not.
Yeah, if it was so good, Chad, it'd be there 24/7.
It would be. It'd be there 24/7. I can get a fucking Bud Light any day, 365 days a year.
I don't get people that hate on Bud Light. Like, I'm not a guy that likes to drink like very dark beer. I just drink light beer to get drunk, but that's just me.
Right. So what? There's a million beers that have a high alcohol in them. You know what I mean? It's a scam.
It's a phenomenal beer.
It's just like Starbucks. They put out their pumpkin spice latte for a month in October to get people, these fucking dummies, these dumb broads excited. I got my pumpkin spice. You know what I mean? They only do it in October. They wouldn't drink that shit year round. There's no actual pumpkin in the spice. It's all fucking chemicals, so it's all garbage. And then in December in Cleveland, because the Browns are fucking 4-11. You know, the fucking Cavs are, won 6 games. They're 6-42. And the Indians, who knows? They just got rid of more guys that they had to pay. So the Cleveland fans are miserable, and they'll drink any fucking. They'll look at the alcohol in this.
That's the same thing I noticed when I worked on Rover's show. They gave me VIP tickets to Beer Fest, and there was root beer flavored beer everywhere. And that to me is the most Cleveland thing, because I have not found it at one bar here in Florida in any town I've been in. But man, Cleveland, you could get root beer flavored beer.
Yeah, great. Yeah, it must go with Sunday Fun Day.
Why do you think he hates Cleveland so much with all those things?
I don't hate Cleveland. I love Cleveland. The fans there, the comedy fans are some of the best, and the sports fans are passionate, but they just have these. I wouldn't expect it from Cleveland. I expect that shit from Seattle, from L.A., from San Francisco, like New York. I'd expect guys walking around saying Sunday Fun Day, Christmas Ale, all that bullshit. I'd expect that, but I wouldn't expect it in Cleveland, which is a blue-collar town. They're a bunch of alcoholics. And they're in the sports. They're manly men.
Now, when you perform in towns like Seattle and Portland, do you do well, or does the fake outrage come out in more offended cities like that?
No, the same. I mean, I've done Portland a bunch. I haven't done Seattle in a while. Now it's people know they're not going to come see me if those people that get offended don't even know who the fuck I am, which is good. So they won't come to the comedy club.
Does it make you feel good that radio shows keep playing your special ed prank calls?
Yeah, I didn't know they did, but yeah, it's good for them.
Mancow does.
Yeah, well, cool. That's good.
Where's Mancow at now? I thought he was.
Yeah, I know where he is. He's in Cleveland drinking a fucking Christmas ale.
With Rover.
I don't know.
He's in Chicago. He's on 890 AM, and he'll come back from break and play different prank calls, and he plays your special ed one about wanting to go on vacation a lot. I just thought that was cool that it gets promotion.
Yeah, no, that's great.
Now, is special ed going to be in the new season of Crank Yankers?
Probably.
How pumped are you about it coming back? I never thought it would come back. I'm pretty excited about it.
Yeah, no, I didn't know. It was 12 years. It was the last time it was on. So yeah, it's good.
It's weird. All the old things from back in the day are coming back. Dave Chappelle, Crank Yankers. It's pretty cool to see that the trends from 12 to 17 years ago are becoming popular again.
Yeah.
Well, they're rebooting everything because, like Eddie Murphy, they're doing Coming to America Part 2. He's hosting Saturday Night Live. It's because the stuff now, in my opinion, stinks, and everything. The stuff I grew up with was great. And that's why there's such a demand for it.
What I don't like is everything has to have an agenda in the movie or a theme, and I just want to watch an action movie or a comedy movie. I don't feel like being preached at. That's my thing.
Yeah, well, I think Hollywood knows when they put all those preachy fucking shit in the movies that the masses aren't going to go see that shit. They'll make a little money. They realize that they're going to try to push their political agenda. People are not I just want to see a fucking movie. I just want to sit in a movie theater. I don't need this shit.
Spider-Man did it though 2 years ago. That Spider-Man with all the young actors, they were talking about Trump in a way. It was weird.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm a grown man, so I don't believe in Spider-Man, so I don't go see the movies. I don't think he can fucking have webs and climb buildings. I can't suspend disbelief.
What do you think?
I just saw Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which was phenomenal, and it was just an old school throwback movie. There was no political climate.
Yeah.
There's no agenda. It was just Quentin Tarantino making a love letter to Hollywood film, and it was such a refreshing. It was a refreshing escape when I went, because I love going to the movie theater, and I never want to go because all the movies suck.
You know the girl that Bradley Pitt is hitting on, and then he finds out she's underage when he's driving around?
Bradley Pitt?
Yeah. Or who was it in the movie? I forgot.
Brad Pitt.
That's what I meant. Shut up. Do you know that Pete Davidson's banging a girl that they thought was underage? Yeah.
Good for Pete, man. That guy's killing it.
What do you think about all the girls on his resume? Forget about the comedy fest he's done, dude. Pete Davidson has some legit names under his belt.
Yeah, good for him. Absolutely. Why not? I mean, if he's going to be like a rock, that's good for other comics. Because if some other Hollywood chicks or some pop musicians go, she's fucking a comedian, I'll go fuck some comedian. So maybe me and Chad have a shot.
Yeah, I want to bang Ariana Grande. That'd be great.
I can't imagine if you were to date her. That'd be the funniest thing. That or Larry David's daughter. That was another person he was with.
Yeah, I was thinking about dating her too. So, yeah.
How popular are you in Los Angeles with the women, like on dating apps?
It's unbelievable. Every night, it's just a new girl.
You're just slaying it, dude. How are you on dating apps? Because I know you're single right now, so how has that transition been like the last few years, just dating?
I don't use them anymore, so,
What was the point where you just got rid of it?
It's just, you don't hear from them. You talk to them for a little bit, then they're gone, You go meet them, they don't look like their picture, so it's better to just do it the old school way.
When you were growing up in the 80s and 90s and you would get a girl's number, would they ever ghost on you, or is this idea of being a ghost on somebody more of a social media era thing?
What's a ghost?
Where you don't respond back to the person and you talk for 4 days and then just...
ghosted.
No, I don't know what that is.
You've never heard that term?
No.
Okay, so basically, you'll be talking to a person, let's say you match with this girl, you were just saying, where you match with a person and then you don't hear back. Right. That's the term for it.
Then you ghost them, Jim. You just ghost them.
What happened? What you just explained it. You didn't. You know what I mean? So I don't. I don't know what word that is.
What I was.
No, I know what you're saying. I know exactly, but I'm saying you just explained it, so I don't need that ghost word in there.
Are you against?
No, but it's always been that case. If some chick or you is not into you, she's just going to stop calling you, and vice versa. So it's it's the same thing.
Do you look down on kids my age for using words like ghosted?
Well, Chad just used it, so he's not a kid.
Yeah.
It is weird. I keep thinking Chad's in his 30s. You're very youthful.
Thank you, Ryan. Appreciate that. I'm sorry that Jim was offended by you using ghosted. I understood what you were saying.
I wasn't offended. I just didn't know what it was.
Yeah, there's a lot of new words that are pretty lit.
Using new words too, because he's going to use this podcast and he's going to call it a swapcast. You know what I mean? Like that. That nobody knows what that is. It's one of the worst things I ever heard. And he'll use that because he heard that. That was just somebody else said it, so then he's like, all right, I'm going to say that.
What's the key? So I do pretty well with the show. But what's the key to getting people to pay for Patreon or something? How do you guys do it? I know you guys provide comedy to Patreon, so your fans are going to want that. But for talk shows like me, what could we bring to Patreon?
I don't know. You got to build a base first. Then you got to.
Base.
Yeah, well, I mean, then you got to have to give them extra content to go over there, make it worth their while.
What are some of the best things you put over there?
My recipe for Christmas ale. I went to a local brewery and I made up my own batch of Christmas ale.
Man, you do not like Christmas ale at all.
I'm just saying. That's what So I can't wait for December. There's going to be a line around the block at my house for it.
What do you do in your free time? Are you actually full of rage?
No, not at all. No, I just, when I hear words like, ghost and canceled and swapcast, yeah, it's a problem.
And ghosted.
But I don't know what no one's going to be using that word in 3 years.
Even 6 months, I think it'll be gone.
6 months, so everyone's just using it now, and then you're like, oh man, I can't believe I said that. That was fucking weird.
I mean, it's weird to think that when a thing was cool 10 years ago, you would say it was sick.
Yeah, I didn't mind that one, but when I was growing up, I remember when everyone used to go, I like guys, not, You know, remember that one not?
Yeah.
When you used to say that, like, you know, when it made not true. You know, I love the Patriots. I want the Patriots to win the Super Bowl again. Not. I never used that. Even as a kid, I was like, that fucking stinks.
The one that all the jocks said in my graduation class, they would be like, yo, that was a good TV show. Debatable. And they would like lean back and go, debatable. So that was weird.
Yeah, I don't know what gay high school you went to, but I never heard that.
Illinois is the worst, dude. Besides Chicago, there's not much in Illinois.
No.
Do you like visiting the Midwest? Like, besides Cleveland, which you just said you like, are there other towns in the Midwest you like hitting up?
No.
I wouldn't say either. It's very boring in the Midwest. Full
No,
effect.
it doesn't matter. Wherever. I go wherever. I mean, you know. I don't, you know, it's the same shit whatever town you go in. It's really no difference. There's a Chipotle, there's a fucking Home Depot, a Starbucks, a Dunkin' Donuts, and a Chili's. So it really, at this point, it doesn't matter what city you're in. It's all got the same shit. You stay in a Holiday Inn Express, and you fucking take an Uber to the Chili's, and then you might go to the, you know, the fucking, you know, the Lifetime Fitness gym, and then, you know, you might go to lunch at Chipotle.
How often do you work out?
There's really there's no distinctive city marks like, oh wow, this is different. It's all garbage, you know.
How often do you work out?
Rarely.
I swim because I have a bad back, so I don't lift, but I feel like I'm going to have a beer gut in like 14 years.
We'll keep drinking that Christmas ale with all those chemicals and fucking sugar in it. They just added sugar to that beer. You realize that. That's why it's supposedly it tastes good. Because you add sugar to something, it's always going to taste sweet and it's going to taste good.
Don't be mad at me. I've never had it.
No, I'm not mad at you.
It's delicious. You guys don't know what you're missing.
It's just sugar. They just added sugar to it.
Have you ever tried it?
No, why would I? I don't drink fucking topical, like, seasonal stuff. Like, I'm not into the season shit. You know, that's why I don't have pumpkin fucking beer. I don't have pumpkin spice latte.
I have pumpkin iced coffee right next to me.
No, you don't.
Yeah, I do.
No.
Yeah, I do.
I don't see it on the side there.
Well, it's hazelnut, but I had pumpkin. Most of the time I get pumpkin.
Why'd you lie?
I didn't lie.
Yeah, see, it's hazelnut. Dunkin' Donuts doesn't have that pumpkin shit.
Yeah, they do, though. I usually get it.
No, you don't.
I can't explain to you. I can't explain to you how weird of a moment this is.
It's not weird. That's hazelnut. It's not pumpkin.
No. What I'm saying is interviewing you right now and interviewing Chad, because I've been a fan of yours since like maybe 2009, Opie and Anthony, when I found it online. And I've been a fan of Chad since like 2010. So if you would have told me 9 years later that I'd be sitting, hanging out with you guys, I wouldn't believe it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, I mean, no, it's cool. You don't know. I mean, look, I grew up listening to Stern. I got on the Stern show, you know, all that shit. So, you know, working with Dice and stuff, grew up idolizing him. So you just never know where the business is going to take you. So that's great.
How often do people want to ask you about when you dated Robin Quivers, if ever?
I don't, you know, it was a long time ago. So, you know, I don't really get that anymore. But whatever, you know, it's all good. It was like 12 years ago.
You think you'll get back with her?
Maybe. No, but it's like 12 years. I don't, you know, like what, I don't remember. Like, I don't remember the girl I dated 6 years ago. I don't fucking remember the one I dated 8. You know, I'm like, yeah, whatever. Oh, yeah, we dated, yeah.
Is it different when you date a woman that's more famous than compared to one that's not as famous? Like, it has to be different with like the paparazzi and the media reporting, though.
Yeah, it's a little different, definitely. You know, it's, but, you know, if you don't seek out the spotlight, like, you know, Pete Davidson did with Ariana Grande, they'd fucking call the press for every move they made. Hey, we're coming out of a hotel, take pictures of us. Hey, we're going here. That didn't go on in my relationship. She wasn't like that, which is good. I wouldn't like that shit. But yeah, you could see Pete set that shit all that shit up. What
is your key when you're talking to women to make sure that they're not with you for like your money or your fame?
I don't even ask. I don't care.
So you just get laid?
No, I don't care. I mean, what are they gonna do? They're gonna fucking, you know, I'm gonna give them my bank account, my account number, and like
some dudes do, man.
Just withdraw whatever you want. I'm not gonna do that, so I don't give a, you know.
What about you, Chad?
If they're with me for my money and fame, yeah, that's always been a problem. So I was even like when I was doing the radio in Cleveland, where, you know, there was a lot of eyes on me, and I knew girls, like a lot of girls like me because I was on the radio, but I didn't give a shit. It's like, fine, I'll use it.
Cleveland fame is weird because like you'll get reports on the radio that they saw me at like Aldi's at like 2:15 in the afternoon, like because it's kind of a small town.
Yeah.
but it's a big market at the same time. It's weird that they'll like call the show and be like, yo, I saw Hoppe at Aldi's or 7-Eleven.
I don't miss it at all. I don't miss it at all.
I don't think the people there embrace it either.
No, it's, Cleveland's home. It always will be, but it's just it's very gossipy and it's very, I don't know, self-important.
What do you think about all this drama that Ched Zumock has had over the years?
He loves it. He does it on purpose. You know what I mean? He does. Of course he does. I mean, he knows if he's going to put something out there, it's going to be a problem. So, that's what he likes to do. But no, he knows what he's doing.
My whole life, I've always hung around troublemakers, and I was always in detention with. I was always like, I look up to people that are always like, just dicking around. Those are always my favorite people.
You know what I noticed about you is you don't really burn bridges. Like, there's not like a radio show, unless I'm wrong, that you don't really go on. It seems like every market you're able to go on each show.
There's no reason to. You're just trying to sell tickets. I don't give a shit what show does whatever. You just go in there, whatever you got to do. I do these local TV shows where you just got to be corny. You're like, how'd you get into comedy? Or, whatever. And you just like, so you just do it, whatever. Because, if you fuck it up for one of the clubs, if you go in and trash the radio guys, and then they're not going to have other comics come on the week after. They go, we're not going to have comedians anymore, and the club's never going to book you. And they're going to tell fucking 20 other clubs, hey, this guy caused a problem. We can't do morning radio anymore because he caused a problem. So then you don't do the other 20 clubs. So, it's just, you break it down like that. It's like, all right, just fucking... Our job isn't that tough. You get up in the morning, you got to do radio. Okay, yeah, you go back to sleep, and then you just got to go up on stage and do your time and fucking, show up on time. That's it.
It seems like you embrace your job, because I've interviewed other comics on here and they bitch about having to get up for morning radio, but it seems like it's a part of the job and that it's a business.
Yeah, I don't like doing it either, but it is. It's part of the business. What are you going to do? Everyone's got a job, and whatever job anyone has, there's fucking problems in it. You know what I mean? They got to work 9 hours a day. We don't have to work 9 hours a day.
What are some of the weirdest things that have happened going on like a morning radio or a TV show? Anything they've asked you or things that have happened?
Not really, no. A lot of them, some are better than the others, but whatever, you just deal with it. Like, okay, I got to hopefully I sold 10 tickets from this or 20 tickets.
Does it make you feel good when you're on a radio show that's big in that market and then the fans come out to the show and then say that they heard about it? Like, let's say on Mike Calta afterwards when they're in the waiting room getting a picture with you?
Yeah, it's good because then all right, it was worth it to go do the show. And I know Mike's show does really well, so other shows you don't know. But no, it's good because then I'm like, all right, good, it was worth getting up at fucking 7 in the morning.
On Wednesday, I headlined Mike's show at Side Splitters, and a couple of people came out to the show because of my radio appearance, so that was really cool.
Yeah, I had a coworker that was there, and he sent me a text, and he's like, yo, your boy Ched Zumock just gave you a shout-out.
Yeah, I said I plugged your podcast. I forgot what I said, but
I appreciate it, dude. You're like one of the few like people that have been like an OG since day one.
Yeah, and I'm an OG. That's right. Jim's an OG.
You are.
Is this another ghost word? What's
original gangster? You have been cool since day one, though, because I met you.
Where did you get this? Where's this one from?
What?
Original.
OG?
You never heard it? You never heard of it?
No. Where's this from?
This is an original one, dude. This one goes to back in the day, man. This is an original one.
Oh, so it's like white guys trying to be black, like taking the black slang.
It's a Chicago thing, yeah.
Right, but it's white guys black guys came out with that, right? So they're trying to be cool, so take
it's like Ice-T's an OG.
No, I didn't know.
He's an original gangster.
And so is Ice Cube.
He's an OG.
Right, that does kids movies. Are we there yet? And he's driving as a dad.
He's a successful businessman.
And now he has a basketball league too.
That doesn't sound like a gangster that's doing kid G movies.
Well, he's evolved, but he's an OG from back in the day.
Okay. Have you evolved?
So someone that is, let's say, like someone else that has evolved, that isn't the same person. They used to be really edgy, but it's not anymore. Do you still call them an OG, or do you call them a sellout? Someone that sold their soul to Hollywood, are they still an OG, or are they a sellout?
I'd call him an OG because he was, one of the founding forefathers of gangster rap.
No, I'm talking about just someone in general. Someone that used to be super edgy, not a rapper. And now they sold out to Hollywood, and they're all Hollywood now.
It depends on who it is.
Okay, so all right, so Patton Oswalt started like the Comedians of Comedy, all comedy. They did rock clubs, and now he's like, entrenched in Hollywood. Is he an OG? Because him, Zach, and Brian Posehn did those tours, and Maria Bamford, and that was original, and they were like, fuck the business, we're out, so we don't kowtow to Hollywood or Comedy Central, we'll do our own shit.
No,
so is he?
No, he's a sellout. He's a sellout.
Okay, but
I never consider him an OG.
But originally he was an outlaw, right? Those guys were outlaws. They went around the business like they didn't do the improvs and the funny bones. They're like, fuck that. We're not doing 7 shows in the shitty system. We'll go and do a rock club, and they built up their audience that way. So they went around the business. That's pretty gangster.
You're just trying to get him to give Patton Oswalt a compliment.
No, it's because you're just saying it's only black guys that are original gangster. It's not a white guy. Like if it's a white guy, no, he's a sellout. But if it's a black guy, no, he's an original gangster.
The best part about you,
like Snoop's doing fucking commercials with Lee Iacocca, he was doing them and shit like that. It's like, come on, you're just fucking completely mainstream now. So you can't say he's an original gangster. He's not. He wanted to be Hollywood. He wanted to host a game show. That was his goal from day one. And that's where he's at now. So he's completely Hollywood. He's doing fucking commercials, doing like PG movies and stuff like that. So
also, he was charged with murder in 1993, and everyone seems to forget about that 26 years later.
Yeah, well, I mean, like Ice-T, he was a cop on a show, whatever like that, but he wasn't doing goofy, silly comedies, PGs, are we there yet? Dad, are we there yet? With kids in the back. That's just fucking lame dad comedy, So, but Snoop has always been a sellout. He always wanted to be a sellout. Like, yeah, he started like being a rebel, but now he loves it. He's in Hollywood now. He's tweeting against Trump, just like every other comic in Hollywood. So he's just in the system. So you can't say he's an original gangster, because he was just a phony from the beginning.
Now, why do comedians think that they have to give their opinion on Trump?
Because everybody else is doing it. Someone in Hollywood decided to do it, so then they have to do it. They've had no opinion on politics before this. They know nothing about politics. But just because everybody else in Hollywood is doing it and they make it a TV show, then maybe, okay, then I should do it then, because Judd Apatow's doing it, because he might put me in a movie or a TV show, so I'll just trash him too, because Judd's doing it. They're all just followers.
What I think is lame is when a comic retweets like somebody else's opinion on Trump, so then you're just putting like liberal or right side opinions on my feed, and you're not tweeting out something original. Like, if you're such a great comic, you should tweet out something original, not retweet other people's facts and opinions, if that makes sense.
These comics need weed to get out of bed to smoke. They walk around with a vape pen. Any kind of stress they have to hit from their vape pen. I'm not going to take their opinions on foreign policy.
But I'm saying when you add them on Twitter, they're sharing other people's opinions and they're retweeting other people. I'm not going to say names, but there's pretty big comics that do it, and it's like you don't want to see it, because like you want to see them tweet out jokes and where you can see them, not about Trump.
You just mute them.
But then you're not really adding them. You might as well just take them off.
Well, you could do that. You unfollow them or just mute them so you don't see it.
Muting is when you don't want to see the person's tweets, but you don't want to offend them by taking them off. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I recently just had to unfollow a friend of mine because it was just too much. Like the mute didn't work. For some reason, it just kept popping up, and I didn't want to see it anymore. And I like the guy. I just didn't want to follow it.
It's weird. With the mute button, when you get nice tweets, those tweets can be muted. But whenever it's like a rude Rover fan or a Bone fan and they tweet out the meanest things, even if you're not adding them back, even if you mute them, it shows up. It's like Twitter wants you to see all the hateful comments.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. I don't dig into it that much.
You also, I feel like, have fans that are positive, because I'm kind of like the heel of radio, and I feel like you get more positivity on your feed.
I don't know about that. But no, I don't know. You just ignore it. I don't know. I'm like, it's just fucking high school shit. I don't go to message boards to find out what people are saying. It's high school stuff.
What do you think about all those Reddit pages for like radio shows where they just say the meanest things?
I don't know. I mean, I don't read them, so I don't know. I know Stern used to have a board back in the day, Stern Fan Network or whatever. And he used to get mad because people would trash him. I don't have that time. I wish I had that time during the day, but I don't get caught up in gossip and stuff. I'll gossip about other comics with chat on the phone or whatever, but overall, I don't care. It's just people that are just frustrated. They're not in the business, They got some shitty job in a cubicle, so they're frustrated that, we're out actually doing it. So, you can't take that shit personally.
Do you think fake outrage is gonna keep getting bad, or do you think it'll improve?
He knows.
Oh, Is it going to keep getting bad?
Yeah.
It's going to get worse. I think everybody wants attention, and they're going to do anything they can, and it's just going to continue to go out of control. Nothing's getting better, in my opinion, with technology. It's just getting worse. Everything, art, music, it's all garbage. It's getting worse and worse. It's going to be a lonely planet in a couple of years.
What do you think about that, Jim?
Sounds pretty depressing. It's kind of negative.
Now, you're going to probably rip into me for saying this, but I like to watch the show Friends. And when I do, it's weird to see them actually...
Let me ask you something. While you're watching, are you trying to suck your own dick? Are you trying to
yeah.
yourself?
I have a bad back, so I can't reach it, though.
Okay, see, so maybe that's how you got a bad back.
It just reminds me of being a kid, because it was not when I grew up. Like, I know it's an awful show, but it makes me laugh. And when I watch it, it shows them, like, not on their phones. It's so weird to think that, like, 25 years ago, say what you want about the show, but, like, they were, like, playing board games and hanging out, and, like, they're not on their phones. Like, if you were to have Friends in 2019, they would all be on their phones.
Do you like when they used to show up, like, a new season with a new hairdo? Did you talk about that? Like, did you see...
I've just seen a few episodes of season 1, dude. I'm not, like, binge watching it crazy.
No, but you said you like watching it and it makes you laugh. I'm just saying, like, when Jennifer Aniston had a new hairdo, you're like, oh, my God, I don't like... What do you think about her hair? I liked it last season. And then when fucking... What's his name?
Ross?
Yeah, Ross, when he got a different haircut, do you tell your friends, like, I don't know, you think we should get a cut like that?
I'm not that edgy, man.
No, I'm just asking if that was going on when you were watching it back in the day.
Well, to make you feel old, I was, like, in second grade, so I was just...
Watching Friends. Well, that's why you thought it was funny. You were in second grade.
Yeah, all those shows with laugh tracks seemed a lot funny back then because the laugh tracks reminded you that you had to laugh. Because if you watch the shows on YouTube without the laugh track, it's not funny.
Yeah. I never was into that sitcom kind of, that never appealed to me. A guy walk in, the neighbor walks in, there's always fucking people walking in and out of doors constantly. That just never was my thing.
What was your thing growing up? So I know it was like heavy metal and it was sports. Were there any TV shows you watched, like maybe wrestling or action shows?
Yeah, wrestling. I watched wrestling for a little while until I found out it was fake. And, just sports, music stuff. I watched some of the sitcoms. I'd watch All in the Family, Sanford and Son.
Married with children?
Some of those. I wasn't watching some of it, not all of it. I mean, it was funny, the ones I watched, but I wasn't.
I was just watching because I wanted to fuck the daughter. That's one reason I was watching it.
Bud Bundy's now like a dance EDM music DJ. It's very bizarre. Like if you would have thought that 25 years later he'd be like doing house music on like internet radio, you'd be like, what? That's all I'm saying.
I don't know.
Well, he's an OG.
Yeah, is he an OG?
He is an OG.
He is.
I can't believe I said that. I feel like you guys have been making fun of me for
No, I don't know. I never
37 minutes.
Before.
You've never heard OG?
No, because I was never into like even NWA and stuff like that. I kind of respected it, but I was more in the metal, so I don't know any of that. Like I don't know any of those. I can't name. I guess Public Enemy, maybe one or two songs. I don't know any from NWA. I don't know any of that shit. So.
Do you like 90s grunge rock from like Seattle?
Yeah.
I'm really getting into like Smashing Pumpkins, STP, Soundgarden, Temple of the Dog. Like I've been like on a binge listen.
Well, as long as you're not watching Friends.
Yeah.
Is that better, listening to Soundgarden and watching Friends?
Definitely. Yeah. No, grunge was great, man. I had a good, Soundgarden was great, Pearl Jam.
I wish the younger generation would go back and like you're doing, because it seems now everyone, they don't know anything that happened right before they were born. They don't go into the history. Like if I listen to a band, I want to know how they were inspired, what band they listened to, and I keep going further and further. It just seems like this generation's not doing that, so keep doing it.
What band do you think in your lifetime has been the most overrated band?
Overrated? Jeez. Jim, he had a show.
No, but you know.
But you had a show on.
Right, but I mean, that was just a heavy metal. He's just saying any band in general. It doesn't have to be metal.
Yeah, but you would know better. Because you had an actual show called That Metal Show.
Yeah, but he's not saying...
I'm saying any genre. Britney Spears, AC/DC, Mozart. I mean, come on.
Overrated.
Yeah. In your lifetime.
I'm trying to... The Eurythmics.
What a fun answer by him.
You gotta have a better answer than that.
This is Chad Zumock we're talking about, though. He's thinking about the next Twitter rant he wants to go on.
Yeah, Twitter's not been kind to me.
Dude, so you pissed off those XXX fans.
Real quick, Springsteen, most overrated.
Yeah. I don't really get him, and I don't get Billy Idol either.
Well, Billy Idol only had a few hits, so it's like he's not the...
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He had like a little window where he was pretty popular for like 4 or 5 years, but Springsteen has been since the 70s.
What do you think of Eddie Money?
He was good. He had some good songs. He had,
He was like party music, I feel like.
Yeah, he had some decent songs. Like if you went and saw him, you'd probably know 6 out of the 14 songs he did.
Hey, I know this is going to be very unpopular, but I'm just glad he's dead.
Why?
I just wanted to put that out there. Negative energy.
Oh, man, that's going to be made into a sound clip, and then it'll live on forever and ever, Chad.
That's fine.
So wait, what were you asking about Twitter with that rapper guy?
Oh, so what happened with the XXX? I don't even want to try and say his name and give him attention. That rapper, all the fans you pissed off.
Yeah, basically what happened was Dina Hashem, girl I know, was getting death threats because this other comic threw her under the bus. And I like to get, in Twitter feuds. So I thought I'd take the heat off of her and just start fighting with his fans because they're all idiots. And some computer hacker just jacked my account, but luckily I got it back.
I first thought about it. I was like, it's not that big of a deal to lose your Twitter, but then I went, it is a big deal to lose your Twitter because that's like your main thing.
Well, it's just we need this for this job, the social media shit. I hate it. If I could get rid of it today, I would. But yeah, it was unfortunate, and I've cutting back on my Twitter feuds because of that, because it was just a nightmare for a week dealing with it.
So on your bio, it says that you had a Cleveland Cavalier night back in 2010. What was it?
It was the year LeBron left, and I made a lot of noise burning the jersey and all that.
Yeah.
And when I was at MMS, we were the flagship station for the Cavs. So they were looking for anything to get asses in the seats because we just drafted Kyrie Irving. The team was terrible. So the Cavaliers organization came to the radio station, and I used to wear a sweater vest. And
what happened to that?
I just when I left the radio, I wanted to be done with it.
True.
It just felt like it was like
the old you.
It ran its course. And so anyways, we pitched him sweater vest night, and it was like they gave out sweater vests, and at the time Jim Tressel was the Ohio State football coach. He wore a sweater vest, so they had video from Tressel. I was there throwing out T-shirts. It was really cool. I was on the Jumbotron, and it was that being my childhood, my favorite team as a child, and to have my own night there was pretty cool.
Who was the shooting guard you guys had in the 80s? Mark something, right?
Mark Price.
I was going to say Mark Price, but I didn't want to be wrong, so.
He was a point guard. But, yeah, he was great. One of my favorites.
Did you ever get to meet him?
I've met Mark Price. Yeah, I have.
Have you met Kozar as well?
I have. Bernie Kosar actually saw me do stand-up at the Improv, and that was like one of the most surreal experiences, too, growing up a Browns fan. And then him coming up to me afterwards, like, dude, you're hilarious. I'm like, you're Bernie Kosar.
What do you think Baker's going to do in his time on the Cleveland Browns?
Yeah, I mean, there's a thing called the sophomore slump.
Yeah.
It's the first time Baker's had a target on his back. He's always been the underdog. He kind of thrived in that position. So I think you just got to give him some time. He doesn't have an offensive line right now, so he doesn't have much time to throw. But this team was so hyped up, overhyped by the media. They were calling him, Jim Rome was calling him America's team, so there's a lot of...
I just hate that Cowherd was right. There's nothing worse than when Cowherd is right on a take. I can't take that guy.
Yeah, it sucks, because I had a lot of high expectations. I drank the Kool-Aid, and you got this amazing talent, and you wanted to all come together, but you got a first-year coach with Freddie Kitchens, and, you got a sophomore quarterback. It's going to take some time.
Now, why should people come see you this weekend?
Because I'm gonna do 25 minutes comedy, and after I get off stage doing 25 minutes, just you can stick around for Jim, or you can go home.
Why should people come see you, Jim?
Because Chad's on the show.
You're very proud of Chad and the growth he's made, aren't you?
Yeah. Well, look, with Baker Mayfield, you got to give him 3 years. You'll know at the end of year 3 if he's going to be a good quarterback or not. It's 2 games into his second season. He didn't even play half the year last year. So but no, the Browns fans, definitely thought they were going to the Super Bowl. So they were just going around, all right, we're going to win the division. Well, if we get home field advantage, all that shit. It's like, just relax. Okay, you're the fucking Cleveland Browns. Let's just see how it plays out. So now they're all fucking freaking out, and all Cleveland, because all the Cleveland fans are going crazy, hyping this team up.
And Baltimore looks pretty good so far.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I'm still not sold on their quarterback, but let's just see at the end of the year and then year 3, because he could be a sophomore slump, Mayfield, this year, and then at the end of year 3, you'll know if you got a franchise quarterback or not. Well, how he's going to be. If he can bring you to a Super Bowl, you'll know after 3 years.
So in 2014, when I was a part of the Cleveland media, I was the one person that tweeted out after that game when Manziel ran in for the touchdown. It was like in November 2014. I said he was going to be a bust, and I said that he wouldn't be able to handle the pressure of Cleveland, and it was so cool to think that I was right about that.
Yeah, well, he should have stayed in college at least another year, but he had psychological problems. Mayfield's way better than him, just seeing him on the field just to begin with,
I think he's a little soft, though, like where he has to respond to like Cowherd or Rex Ryan. It's like, dude, just focus on throwing the ball.
No, I like that he's doing that. He's feisty. He's like, fuck you. Watch.
But if you're not winning games, maybe you should focus more on the games.
Well, he's being interviewed. They're asking him a question. He has to respond.
That's true. I'm just saying, like, I feel like he's very outspoken and should back it up on the field.
Yeah, well, the season's not over. We're 3 games in?
That's true. I just think they're going to go like 7-9.
Okay.
What do you think? Honestly. Take out your Browns fandom. What do you think they're going to do?
I met Baker Mayfield in February, and he said every time he hits the field, he thinks Super Bowl. So I'm with Mayfield. We're going to the Super Bowl.
Damn right. Thank you, guys.
See, that's why everyone attacks the Browns now, because you got guys like that saying they're going to go to Super Bowl.
Yeah.
When they're not. So when you hear that shit, you're like, good. Then people almost root against them.
I just think they're going to be a nice 7-9, maybe 8-8.
Yeah, that's what they're going to be. That's what I said in the beginning of the year.
And that's better than going 0-16. I mean,
maybe the next year they'll be good. They got to, look, they got the biggest drama queens in 2 of the 3 biggest, Jarvis Landry and Beckham on the team. They're going to cause problems. They're already starting to cause problems. First-year coach, and they're just going to divide that locker room as soon as they start losing more. So it's going to end up a nightmare. You got if you go out on a Friday night with 2 chicks that are full of drama, what are the odds of that whole night going smooth? None. Maybe the first couple of times they want to put on the best, the best performance. Like, I'm not going to cause any problems. But once they lure you in, then they're going to cause problems. So by week 7 or 8, if they're 3-6, there's going to be major problems on that team.
Well, guys, keep up the good work. It's been a lot of fun having you on the show, and I appreciate you guys taking the time out to do the show.
Well, you're paying us, right?
Ha ha, good one. You know how much money I make in radio?
No, I don't.
You don't want to know.
Why?
It's not a lot.
So why wouldn't I want to know?
Because I'll say it off the air. It's really depressing.
Chad used to make good money.
I made good money.
Ooh, look at you, badass.
Yeah. Are you trying to sign off?
Yeah. All right, thanks, guys.
Happy hour.